show. And I can usually tell how much interest is going to be generated in the show by how the people who work here at the studio clamor around to see the collection. And there was a mile-long line today as my guest, Robert White, showed up with his collection. Robert, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you.
And let's tell the people out there what exactly it is you collect. You collect...
That's one question I hate,
You
because I collect
everything.
so many different areas.
Okay, well, let's narrow it down.
My main area of collecting is John F. Kennedy.
John F. Kennedy memorabilia, and in an effort to make sure people don't turn away to Wheel of Fortune right now, let's hit them with the big collectible,
right.
the really one that everybody will not believe that you actually have in your possession. Let's show them the wallet.
Okay.
Let's go with that right off the bat.
Right. This is John F. Kennedy's wallet that he carried from 1956 to 1962. In my collection, I also have the wallet that...
yeah, there we go, without
yeah,
the glare.
I also have the wallet that he used from 62 to the day he was killed in Dallas.
Okay, so this is...
The interesting part of this wallet is the money clip. The money clip was given to him by Jackie on their, on their first wedding anniversary in 1954, and he carried it to the day he died.
Okay, so he had this money clip in his wallet.
Yeah, he took it. There's another spot for it in the other wallet that I have where he replaced one from the other, and he discarded this. This still has his driver's license.
That's got his driver's license and everything, and it's got his initials on it.
Yep.
And is that real? Whose money is that?
I put money in it from the 50s just as a kind of a memento.
So when you got this, what was in it? Just the driver's license?
The driver's license, yeah, and the spot where the money clip was.
Okay, so this money clip belongs right on there. It says for Jack on it.
Right, for Jack, love Jackie.
And the question is, of course, where did you get something like this? I'm sure everybody thinks JFK's personal effects are either in the library or...
I actually, it sounds egotistical, but I have more items than the Kennedy Library of personal nature. The Kennedy Library in Boston houses all the John F. Kennedy memorabilia there is in papers and archival material. And of course they have some great things like the coconut that was on his desk and synonymous memorabilia with Kennedy.
There was a coconut on his desk?
Yeah, the coconut that he wrote a message on that down in the Philippines
when he was,
in 1944,
was of the
which actually saved his life. Yeah, they put it in lucite, and it's a main attraction at the library.
Somebody found the coconut?
Yeah, the natives found the coconut and came and saved him. It's,
well, I never heard that part of the story.
PT-109, the boat, the movie, the Cliff Robertson, there was a book about it. Yeah.
Right, I had forgotten if I had ever known about the coconut.
So anyway, the library has a lot of personal items, but I've got over 1,000 extremely personal items like his wallets and watches and rings and things that he used. And, you know, again, it's relics of a man. It's relics of any presidents. It's what you can go and the Dearborn Museum and see relics of Abraham Lincoln. And you can go in Springfield and see Lincoln. You can go in Mount Vernon and see Washington. In my collection, you can see John F. Kennedy, as well as the Kennedy Library. Was
there a specific reason you picked Kennedy to collect, or did you just fall into it?
No, I've kind of fell into it. I met several people that worked for Kennedy, and Kennedy had the same kind of... the people that worked for him loved him so much, and especially the way he was martyred and killed in Dallas. Same with Abraham Lincoln. Many people saved his material. Right after the assassination, there were people clamoring around Dallas collecting things. They did the same thing in Ford's Theater the night Lincoln got shot. People broke into the booth
mementos.
And took off pieces of the wallpaper of the booth where Lincoln was. Programs from that night became immediately collectible. So with Kennedy, Dallas created a fervor in the assassination-related memorabilia. Then, years down the line, as he became more of a beloved president, whether people hate him or love him, he has his place in history.
Right.
And people collected his things.
Let's take a look at something else.
These things were saved by people that worked for him, and that's where I get them from. And they haven't seen the light of day. In fact, I just got Jackie Kennedy's passport, which is not...
Let's take a look at that then. That's right over there.
Yeah.
We'll go talk about that.
It has not been seen since 2 days ago when I purchased it from...
You purchased it?
2 days ago. And it's put away since 1963. So it's an incredible relic. This one is John F. Kennedy's passport.
Okay, whoops, we just lost the...
Yeah.
There we go. Okay, let's see if we can get a picture of... Well, his picture's in that, obviously,
yes.
It's his passport.
It's his passport that he listed his father's next to kin. It's signed by him here. And it's got a very nice early shot of him in 1953.
There's his picture.
Yeah. He was a congressman and became a senator right around the same time and traveled extensively all over the world.
I can see through all the passport stamps in there that he went just about every place.
Yeah, he went all over the world.
And now you've got his and Jackie's. Now, how did you get a hold of Jackie's?
Jackie came from the same person that I buy all my material from. They're basically household Kennedy names, I call them. They don't want to be thought of as needing money or selling things, so I have a working agreement with them that I don't divulge who they are, but they're people that everybody would know. They're not maids and butlers, they're household names, the Salingers, the Sorensens, the big names that everybody would know.
Okay.
And that's how I get my things. They don't donate them to the Kennedy Library. They've worked for the library at some point. They still do work for the library, but they have these things tucked away and know that about my collection, and since 1976 I've amassed over 1,000 personal items.
1,000 personal items. Among them, let's see if we can get a shot of this. We've got JFK's glasses. You got a picture here to give us a frame of reference.
Used as president, yeah.
Wearing
you can
these
see they're
glasses.
stretched out, and that's because he wore them on his head like that.
Wore them on his head.
And an odd thing about that is he never wanted to be photographed with them on.
Just on his head?
Yeah, there's very few. He would put them down. Again, he was a young, vibrant president, and
How do they look
didn't
on me?
want, the rocking chair was one aspect that he could overcome, but
All right, I'd like a little bit extra chowder there, Jackie.
it's pretty good.
Okay,
Sound
there
more
we
like
go.
Bobby, though.
You don't have? Do you have any Bobby Kennedy?
Oh, yeah,
stuff?
I have a lot of Kennedy memorabilia, family memorabilia. If you can, an interesting piece of family memorabilia that I brought.
Back over where the passports are.
Yes, in between the passports is a 1939 guest register sheet signed by the entire family with the exception of the older brother that was killed, Joe. He wasn't killed yet, he just wasn't attending the coronation of the Pope in 1939. But we have...
Pen right in the middle of it, but it's got all their autographs on
Joe
it.
at the top, the father, Rose the second one, John F. Kennedy's the third, and it goes right on down with the rest of the children, including Teddy and Bobby. At a
How
very,
old would he have been at that time?
Bobby was around 13, and Teddy was around 6.
Well, now that's a neat piece of memorabilia.
Yeah,
right
the
there.
fact that the whole family signed it, it's really intriguing, really a neat historical piece.
It doesn't look like nearly enough Kennedy names. I used to think there were 14 or 15 in that
that's
family.
the main clan right there.
Uh-huh. That's the shortened version.
Yes.
Okay. Now let's see what else we have here. Now you have some things that were on JFK's desk. I'm noticing some cigars. Do you want to talk about these
Yeah,
cigars
this is
right
his
here?
cigar case. Oddly enough, he smoked Cuban cigars.
Did he continue to smoke them in 62?
He had them imported. Yeah, they were very rare. I have his cigar
Why don't you
box.
hold these still for the camera.
I have his
Where-
cigar
right there?
box, which houses gift cigars that he would give to people,
Mm-hmm.
but he wouldn't let anybody except himself smoke these.
Okay, and so this is an actual JFK cigar.
Yes.
This was something that was on his desk. And
Yes.
this is a cigar case.
This is a cigar case he would carry them in, and he
Okay.
would fold it and stick it in his pocket.
Okay.
When he
And-
went on trips or, to a dinner or something like that, he invariably smoked after a dinner. There's many pictures of him lighting up after dinner.
Mm-hmm. And what would
uh,
he light that with, Bob?
His lighter.
Hey, there's
This
his
is one
lighter.
of his lighters. He had many, but this is an interesting one because it's initialed and then it's brought back from one of the early space missions
Ah, okay.
down in Florida. And of course, he was the president that said, we'll put somebody on the moon by
Let's
the
see
end
if
of
we
the
can-
century.
Hold that up so people can get a good idea what it looks like here. And when would he have come into this?
That was given to him. I have letters on all of this memorabilia. That was given to him about 1962
Mm-hmm.
because it's got on the back a Gemini spacecraft. That was
Right.
the two-man
I don't know if we
flights.
can see that well, but there the
Yeah.
Gemini spacecraft is right there. Okay. I just can't get over that wallet. That just boggles my mind. And we also have, what's up front there, a credit card?
Yeah, this is an
Now,
interesting
this is
credit
going to
card.
make the cameras wig out.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can hold this so
It's
you
his,
can actually get a
it's his
picture of it.
Desert Inn, which is in Las Vegas.
Whether that's a casino and hotel?
Yes.
He had his own personal credit card there, huh?
Yep.
Let's see
It's
if
kind of before the days of the plastic
go.
ones.
Uh-huh.
It's a nice metal one.
It's heavy, yeah.
It's actually a beautiful card.
Uh-huh.
And it's got his name in it, on it, and 1957 with his member number.
When he was out there doing something that those...
Doing something.
Well,
yeah.
now that they're redoing his biographies, I'm sure they say he was up to no
They have him
good.
doing more than I think he ever did.
Yeah, I know.
History has a way of distorting things.
I always wonder how he had time to preside over the country with all the things they
That's why I
attribute
enjoy
to him.
collecting, because this stuff is the true, real thing. And then when you read about him, when I read about him and read about this picture right here in particular, that was his favorite portrait of the family taken in
Now,
Hyannisport.
Did this come off the... Wait, show it right over there. Let's see if we
This
can
was
get
his
it.
favorite portrait taken at Hyannisport, and he's wearing the watch.
This thing almost makes me want to cry. It just makes me see what a young man he was with the family and little
you
kids.
can see why he likes this picture, because
Yeah.
it's just
It's
you
just
know,
a great
he was
photo.
What I've learned from owning his things, that he wasn't an egomaniac. He wasn't a rich brat type
Now,
person.
you have that picture because of the watch,
Yes.
right? Let's take a picture of the watch because he's actually wearing that watch
Yeah,
in the
he's
picture.
wearing that watch in the picture. It's a gold Omega,
Mm-hmm.
And,
Say anything on the back?
Yes,
It
if
does
you
say
can see.
something on the
It
back.
says, President of the United States, John F. Kennedy, from his friend Grant, if you can see the back.
Okay, let's see if we can see the watch face again. Okay, oh, that's fine. And Grant who?
He liked leather bands. Grant was Grant Stockdale. He later appointed him ambassador to Ireland.
Okay.
And an odd story about this is Grant Stockdale, in December of 1963, 1 month after the assassination, committed suicide. And the article in the Washington Post said that he was extremely despondent over his best friend's death, which was John Kennedy. And he committed suicide, which is kind of strange.
Yeah.
A little aside to that watch. He wore that for the first 2 years of his life. He wore that when he was inaugurated, and that was basically his favorite watch.
First 2 years of his life or his presidency?
Of his presidency.
Presidency,
Yeah,
there we
I'm
go.
sorry, his presidency.
Okay, I was going to say, he'd be pretty punctual and
Right,
organized to wear that
right.
when he was a little teeny toddler.
Right.
And what do we have here? These are
These are shot records.
inoculation records?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
In the 1950s, when you went to Canada, you needed shot records. And this one is John F. Kennedy's, and this one is his wife, Jackie, and they're both signed and show the different inoculations that they got. And this one is 1958, and this one's 1957.
Now, these are really personal things.
Oh, yeah.
How could somebody get a hold of these? These are like from the doctor's files, or?
No, this is what you were given, and you carried
it with
yeah,
you.
you carried it with you. And when you went across the border, I mean, now they're much more different across the border. You just show your birth certificate.
Mhm.
But this one, you needed, even a United States senator needed to show he was inoculated.
Okay, what do we have? We got some buttons and looks like some swatches.
Yeah, these are swatches of a blue blazer, much like the one you're wearing, that he wore at the...
This is a pre-presidential one that I
yeah,
have on.
at the cup races in Newport Beach, and the buttons on it are solid gold, and they were made for Kennedy. He liked them, and he wore them on a blazer on a ceremonial occasion, but on a daily basis, he wouldn't be seen absolutely wearing those at all.
Right.
He wasn't an egomaniac. He really wasn't. I mean, I have many, many things in my collection to prove that.
Now this actually kind of gives me the creeps that these are torn off a jacket.
Yeah, well, the odd thing
Ugh,
about his
this is-
clothing, whenever he wore out clothing, he would give the clothing to his mother, and his mother would give them to poor people in Massachusetts.
Oh, okay.
And this one, I know personally, the man I got this from requested Kenny O'Donnell, who was his appointment secretary. He said, I love the buttons on the president's coat. When he wears out one of those coats, could you see I get the buttons? And the man waited about 1.5 years and got those buttons before he was assassinated.
Ah, okay. So these are highly personal effects. I don't think I've ever seen anything so...
Sometimes I look at my own collection and I can't fathom that I own them.
You know,
So
yeah, as you can see, I don't
pretty-
even have words for it to say that
pretty
we actually
strange.
have some JFK things like this.
Yeah.
What do we have here?
This is their wedding invitation. It's simple, again, nothing fancy, but they were married on Saturday, September the 12th, at 11 o'clock at St. Mary's Church in Newport, Rhode Island. And that's a picture of the ceremony, and this is the original invitation that was sent out.
Let's see, we're getting a shot. There's a shot of the... Try and hold it right there. There's a shot of the invitation. And they got married in Newport, Rhode Island.
Right.
It's very interesting. And and you've got on top of that a shot of when they're at the altar.
Yes.
Doing whatever the Catholic thing was at the time. I'm sure it was like a 2-hour ceremony.
About an hour, and a priest was marrying them.
Okay.
The crowd was out.
What point? You must know a lot. What point are we at in this ceremony? At the ceremony right there.
Well, it's part of the, they call it a nuptial mass.
Oh, okay.
So it's a part of the mass. They kneeled.
Okay, that's great. What other? You have some other photos here too. Where are we going with these?
Well, this is a really historic piece, if you can pick it up.
Okay.
This is the first thing that John F. Kennedy did when he became president. He went into the Oval Office at 8:52 a.m. On January 21st, 1961, and for about 3 or 4 minutes, he posed for 6 photographers who were in front of him.
Mm-hmm.
And his hands are on the piece of paper that's on his desk, and it's this piece of paper.
That piece of paper from the very first minutes that he was in the White House.
He posed for photographs, and they're well documented that he did that. And then he picked up that pencil and said something like, let's get to work. And then he wrote Monday, Rayburn, Johnson, Tuesday, legislative leaders, Rayburn, McCormick, Mansfield, Kennedy, Smathers, Albert, and Johnson. These were people he wanted to meet with, and that meeting did happen on Tuesday, and it was actually the first thing he did. This is in Kenny O'Donnell, his appointment secretary's handwriting.
Oh, okay.
So actually, this is the first thing he did as president. And oddly enough, in my collection, I have the last thing he was working on when he landed in Dallas. He was working on the trademark speech. He was landing at Love Field and going in a motorcade to the trademark to give a speech at lunch, and he has about a 20-line sentence that he wanted to be included in the speech, and I have that also in my
So you
collection.
get the first and the last thing he ever worked on in the White House.
Oh, well, as president. Yeah.
As president.
Yep.
That is very impressive.
Here's a super item.
This is a ring here?
Yeah, this is a West Point ring. It's 1962, and the West Point rings have a quartz fine stone in them. This is removed, and the presidential seal is put in the top. His name is on the inside, and it's 1962. Now, he got this as a West Point commander, but he was commander-in-chief of the Army, Navy, Air Force, and Marines.
Right.
So General MacArthur presented him with this in the Oval Office as a ceremonial presentation, as commander-in-chief.
General MacArthur.
Yep.
Big Doug.
Yep. Well, he admired MacArthur, and MacArthur liked Kennedy, I believe.
And we have some sunglasses there. These are his?
These sunglasses were in the 4th car in Dallas, Texas on November 22nd, 63. I have his other pair of sunglasses, which are kind of alligator type. And in 63, these were the hot items. They were Ray-Bans. And the Ray-Ban company had just come out with this style. They're very popular in today's society, but back in 63, these were the cool thing to wear. So Kennedy, instead of carrying the case, which would make his pocket bulge, he'd carry it, and it was raining that morning. The sun came out later, and he would just request the glasses if he'd need them, but they were in the 4th car in the motorcade. And they're prescription glasses.
Where was he in the motorcade?
He was in the 1st car,
First
the lead
car.
car. Right.
So he could just say, I need those sunglasses.
He could just say to someone, I need the sunglasses, I need whatever. I mean, the president just, request whatever.
Right, and he'd get whatever.
Yes.
And now, are those tips chewed on it? You said he liked to chew the tips of his eyeglasses.
Very slightly. The other ones here, I have pictures of him chewing on the glasses. He chewed them insatiably. I mean, he was always thinking, and while he was reading and things.
Right. What else do we have
This is an
here?
intriguing piece.
Okay.
If you see this Life magazine from 1957, the March 11th issue.
And why was he on that for 57?
This is an article about the Democrats and discrimination in the North.
Why don't you hand that to me, and you can hold the big piece, and I'll hold this. So we can
Life
see.
magazine, through a request through Senator Kennedy's office, I think Jackie really liked that photograph. It is a great photograph of him. She
there we go.
called Life magazine and had them send the original photograph of the photograph that appeared on the cover. And the interesting thing about this is, if you can see the back.
Oh, this might be tough. Those are Xerox. Well,
right,
yeah, you can
right
see
here
there.
is the photograph hanging, and there's Jackie looking at it.
So
This
that's-
caption in the book said, the young senator's wife casting an admiring glance at her husband's photo. And then it's the same photo that appears in the Oval Office, and in the Oval Office again.
Okay.
I like to document things like this. Sometimes it's very easy, and sometimes it's difficult. I have to look through thousands of photographs.
Yeah, I was going to say you have to.
This was a really extremely simple one, because when I saw the photograph, I knew immediately that it was a Life, and I knew immediately where it hung in the White House.
So you feel that all of these things are documented to your satisfaction and to be
Absolutely.
genuine?
Well, when I get them from the people that worked for John F. Kennedy, I mean, I have no question or no doubt. But once they leave the person's, and this is, for any collector, once a person gives you something or sells you something, you should always get credible documentation with it, or provenance. Provenance is extremely important. Some things speak for themselves, like the passports, the autographs, the Life magazine thing. But some things, like the buttons, could be just gold presidential buttons. But
Sure.
I have a letter discussing the whole history of them. It's very important.
What do you think? I don't know that we've talked about. We talked about just about everything.
The last thing we didn't talk about, I think, is the pen set from his desk.
And that's back over here in front of the
Yes.
passports.
Yeah, it's got his name on it, John F. Kennedy. And
That's straight
it's got
from
the
his
original
desk.
pen, yes.
So you could pretty much reconstruct his desk almost.
Well, with what I brought here is just a small sampling. I have even down to when they cleaned his desk out on November 23rd, Johnson, again, they wanted to have Kennedy's funeral, but the transition of the government had to happen.
Quickly.
So on November 23rd, Johnson ordered the office cleaned out. They sent a battery of about 6 people in, and I have even the paper clips, rubber bands, and everything out of the center desk drawer. The only thing that was removed from the center desk drawer that I don't have are, top secret documents or extremely personal things that Jackie wanted to keep.
Right.
But I have things like hotel keys that he left in there, an odd booklet that talks about protecting the president, a Secret Service booklet, what the president's supposed to do to help the Secret Service protect him.
Oh, okay.
Which was kind of ironic.
That's interesting,
Yeah.
how to cooperate with the Secret
Right.
Service.
Several patches, several gift items that he would give to people, like PT-109 tie clips, which were, became a famous thing for him to give out, and highly collectible back then. So I do have a lot of things from his desk, but I have transient things that were on his desk for maybe a week or two, and then he would discard. And then the real kind of nuancy type thing to do is go to the Kennedy Library and see pictures of the things that I have on his desk.
On the desk.
Yeah, I have lots of that type of thing, and it's fun to do that.
I think that's very impressive. Let's talk quickly about Jack Ruby.
Yeah,
Let's bring
part
in
of the offshoot of Kennedy is collecting other memorabilia involved with the assassination.
Mm-hmm.
The Carousel Club was the nightclub that Jack Ruby owned.
It's like a strip joint, right?
Yes, in Dallas. It's no longer there, but people even come just to see the spot it was on.
Mm-hmm.
And this check was written by Jack Ruby on July 7th, 1963, and he's paying the Dallas Times-Herald newspaper for advertising $64, and it's all filled out by him, and it says Carousel Club on the bottom. And this clock is the clock that was on the desk of Jack Ruby in the Carousel Club, and it's, again, frozen in time, Monday, November 25th. It's when the Dallas police came in and confiscated everything after he shot Oswald. So it's, when I saw it, I bought this from Earl Ruby, Jack Ruby's brother.
Oh, okay.
Who still has some of the memorabilia and became famous a year ago when he sold the gun.
The pistol, right?
Right, for $220,000. So I bought this clock, and
You did not buy that pistol?
No, I did not.
Were you interested in it at all?
It's too much money. I mean, the guy that bought it, in my opinion, is not a true collector because
he's more of a speculator?
Well, he's a speculator because he's firing bullets out of it and selling the bullets for $450.
Oh.
And to me, it's just crash commercialism.
Yeah.
I mean, I would never do anything like that.
Now, this is all stuff from your own personal collection.
Right.
You collect this stuff because you like it.
I enjoy it. I love it.
You're not trying to flip a buck on any of this stuff.
No, I do sell some things when I have duplicates, but not this type of material because there are no duplicates.
Right.
It's usually one of a kind that I brought today.
Well, let's talk about, you've got another couple of presidential things. This is Abraham Lincoln's. Can I touch this?
Yeah, sure.